As money enters a new digital era, central bank digital currencies are moving from concept to implementation. The UAE Digital Dirham signals a strategic shift toward faster, smarter, and more integrated payments. We are pleased to have such amazing guests today, Arpit, Andre, and Jonathan, Ali. Could you please each briefly introduce your experience and the company you present? Yeah, let's start.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Arpit, founder and CEO at Fuze. Fuze provides digital assets infrastructure to regulated fintechs, in banks, enterprises, and so on. So we have a full out-of-box crypto infrastructure for banks like VO, ADCB, who have embedded our trading solutions. And then we have full vertical for the cross-border payments on stablecoins for PSPs, fintechs, and so on, right? So I had product and operations at Fuze.
Andre?
Yes, hi. My background is mainly in Forex, actually. I've been in Forex since 2012. In the last 3 years, I personally got into the blockchain environment, I would say, crypto environment. But specifically for Match to Pay, very similar, I would say, to my competitors and colleagues, I would say, BVNK and Fuze. We're more into the crypto infrastructure for various companies. It could be Forex brokers, EMIs, banks, you name it. Basically, anything you can do with blockchain, we can do it. But right now, we're mainly focusing on the retail end side for Forex brokers, being here in the IFX Expo, of course. But yeah, anything blockchain related, we can do it, basically.
Thank you. Jonathan, please.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, Jonathan Wood, SVP Commercial at BVNK, based out of the United Arab Emirates. BVNK, we're now officially valued as a unicorn, and we're a full-stack stablecoin infrastructure provider. So we have a technology solution, which is a wallet infrastructure. We've got send, receive, convert, modeled in payments, and OTC or conversion. We've got G3 currencies in US dollar, euro, and GBP. So we're a regulated EMI, offering a named virtual IBANs on that front and international SWIFT settlements. We're also launched embedded. So we've launched embedded wallet solutions, which is wallets to our clients, and this is for on-ramping and off-ramping. So Visa Direct, WorldPay, are clients of ours on that embedded model. And into next quarter, we are launching an express embedded product, which if you take a CFD user can own their own stablecoin wallet, earn rewards on that stablecoin wallet, attach a card to that stablecoin wallet and spend on that. We run these businesses across multiple regulatory ecosystems globally, from the US to the UK, Europe, and we are in the process of getting in principle approved in Singapore over the course of the next 3 months.
Amazing. About Ali Zakaria?
Thank you, Ghadeer. I'm Ali Zakaria, Senior Legal Counsel at Mashreq Bank. I'm here to make problems for my fellow panelists. Always lawyers try to make sure that the business are compliant with the laws and the regulations of the country or the jurisdiction they are operating in. We are trying to be the fully digital bank in the UAE and the region. We are one of the biggest banks in the Gulf region. My experience is judiciary in Egypt for around 12 years, and after that in the private practice in the Tamimi and Company for more than 3 years, and now I'm in the litigation department in Mashreq Bank.
Thank you, Ali. So let's start with Farid. How would you describe the UAE Digital Dirham and why its introduction important for the payments ecosystem?
So AD Digital Dirham is a central bank CBDC, what we call as central bank digital currency. Right? It's the digital representation of the physical dirham that we have. A major change becomes that it's based on distributed ledger technology, which means one of the core things that it will solve is on the settlement lag. Besides, of course, the payment rails, faster settlements, 24/7, and then bunch of the execution is still yet to be seen, but it's a major infrastructure upgrade on the physical AD that we have right now.
Perfect. Andrew, please.
Yeah, regarding the definition of it and what it actually does, I don't think I need to add more to it.
Please make the microphone more to you.
Okay, all right.
To hear you clearly.
So it's not, as I said, I'm not going to do the definition, but it's more, I would say, used for in the back end for institutional clients more than the retail clients, the digital dirham issued by the CBDC specifically. Yeah, it will make it easier in the cross-border settlements with the central banks and the banks within. So it's not going to be so much seen by the retail clients as much more by the institutional, I would say. So.
Perfect. Jonathan?
Yeah, I think stepping away from blockchain and the use of Fract, I think the great thing to realize here is that the UAE central bank is taking an idea that's been in conceptualization for years already, that we've been speaking about, and looking forward on how they can stay on the bleeding edge of adoption, how they can attract a much more positive sentiment around the country for being market leaders in innovation, market leaders in forward thinkingness and staying abreast of current technology. We've talking about a test transaction here, so there's no guarantee that it's going to work successfully. There's no guarantee that but we need to test these things out. We need to try these things out. And the willingness to open up a playground for that is, I think, hugely exciting. How it rolls out for us as an international player, we'll get to that in later questions. But I think, if anything, it's an exciting development.
Perfect. Mr. Ali?
Yeah, I think it's a best of all worlds because it has like the trust of the normal currency and also the programmability and the efficiency of the cryptocurrency. So it's going to be a very good step for the UAE to implement it because in any country there will be the cryptocurrencies issued by the central bank would be a very good step for them in order to improve the economy. I would say it's going to take a lot of time for people to trust it, but eventually, backed up by the central bank of the UAE, people will trust it eventually.
Perfect. Okay. What practical impact could the digital dirham have on consumers, business, and financial institutions? Please, Arpit.
As my colleague here just said, right, I also believe that CBDC is meant more for wholesale and institutional use case. That's where it adds a lot of value rather than retail payments. One big consideration that in the implementation the CBUAE here should have is for any product that you launch, right, like you need a distribution. And the distributors in between need to have enough incentive to distribute that product, right? So typically in a regular AD or any fiat currency, banks are those distributors, right? And banks have incentives aligned to be those distributors, right? The whole banking model is on fractional banking, which is banks get deposits and then lend on the other side. One of the things that need to be seen is, does the central bank directly plan to integrate these CBDC into wallets and distribute, or into rails and distribute, or how they incorporate the bank's role in between distributing the CBDCs? So that's one thing. The other important thing is, of course, on the wholesale and institutional side, there is a direct use case because of the faster settlement. The adoption can be, the first wave adoption can be the government systems itself, like all the wage payments or government taxes. A bunch of those use cases can be forcefully pushed from the central bank initially, and then the larger industry adopts once they start seeing the benefit of this, right? The benefits globally are not clear yet beyond the wholesale or the institutional use case.
Perfect.
I completely agree in that respect. As I mentioned earlier, it's more on an institutional level that it's specifically CBDC issued dirham because they're more focused on the institution side rather than the retail. And if you look at the history of all the issuance of CBDCs, majority of them failed, honestly. It will be very interesting to see how UAE actually tackles that, if they have that in their mind regarding the retail. And they actually already have a competitor in that respect as well. They have a privately issued digital dirham by AID Foundation on the AID network as well. And I was just speaking with them actually today, and they have an interesting way of connecting it to the retail clients. They know the main pain point is retail clients. The use of it will be based on retail clients. And I think it will be interesting to see which one will actually be used more by retail, but history dictates, let's say, that most likely it will not be used so much by retail.
Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, my initial idea of a CBDC was for easy distribution between a central bank and that first tier one layer of banking, right? We've seen this now morph into a consumer-facing product. So I think adoption, it can be mandated, right? And I think that's the reality of if this is successful, it will just be a mandated rollout. And that means a successful rollout. So the quickest way to do it is to not just encourage adoption or see incentivization adoption. And I know it's got to be there, but when you shift that to from a sandbox to a global rollout, it can't necessarily be just piecemeal because it's the entire country's currency, right? So what I'm looking at now is if there is a large adoption, and what BVNK as a large global player is looking at is, other than saying, oh, this could work, that couldn't work, this is my suggestion, the innovation's already there, the driver's already there, and what we're looking at now is the interoperability, right? What is a CBDC going to link back into my main business? I'm a on-ramping, off-ramping solution for global players. I've got clients regulated globally with offices in the UAE and around the rest of the world. And what we're saying, so I'll take an example. I'm a deliverable FX firm. As a deliverable FX firm, I want to do a quick cross-border payment with USDT. But if I'm doing that quick cross-border payment with USDT, the person I'm paying doesn't necessarily want to hold that. They want to receive that in their domestic currency. That's an instant gap. With the blockchain-enabled CBDC, I'm envisioning an instant off-ramping solution and a transaction not executed in 2 minutes, but in mere seconds, where you're sending USDT from China into the UAE with instant off-ramping directly into your bank account. And that's where we really get excited about the enablement of a domestic currency on the blockchain. Now, yes, it is only one, but I mean, you've got to have the market leader. And if we know anything about the UAE, it does position itself globally as a market leader, which is, so I think that's the most exciting element of it. We sit here with bated breath watching it and I guess encouraging it to be successful to a large extent, and would love to understand how that CBDC will be distributed to internationally regulated players like ourselves. We're regulated, as I mentioned, out of the US, the UK, and Europe, soon to be Singapore. And with that, how can we adopt a CBDC onto our rails? What hoops will we need to jump through? What sort of regulatory clarity would we need to provide to a single central bank in order to get that interoperability? So we really are looking ahead towards that.
Thank you. What about you, Ali?
Yeah, as mentioned, like the adoption is the most important thing, especially for banks. They have to make a digital wallet available for their customer, and it's gonna be should be efficient and fast. And like I think the banks who are going to adapt fast and make a efficient digital wallet, we're gonna excel in this, and we're gonna have more transaction for them. Also, non-banks and financial institutions who provide the wallets also who will be increase in the market here for the next years. Actually, I feel that people will struggle in the beginning, like for consumers to adopt it, because you know that everything has some resistance, like people change. So it's gonna be the customer who are the last one to adopt this.
Okay, Ali, because you are working in bank, how you find its challenges, or it's hard to convince the client to use digital currencies, especially old minds? You understand me?
Yeah. I think trust is the most challenging thing, because when it comes to money, people deal with a lot of fears and a lot of scarcity. So I think they have to find the proof, and also mandated, as you said, that should be mandated on them to pay certain things with digital dirham in order for them to try it, and after them seeing that the transaction went so well, they can trust it more, and they will see the speed and the efficiency of the digital wallet. After that, they will trust it more and use it more. So I think to be mandatory and to be efficient will be the thing to to convince people to use it more. But one of the other challenges that I might face also is like now we are, as lawyers, we have to know how to draft smart contracts and how to program them, because these are like programmable
it's hard
money.
to understand it.
Especially
in Arabic, especially in Arabic language, because most of these definitions is in English, So how you want to explain to the local people, how to explain to the Arab clients?
I think like
it should be a very big awareness campaign. Responsibility on the banks. I think that.
Yeah, I think that the drafting will not require any Arabic language, but explanation, yes, and to the clients will be in Arabic in some deals, but also with the judges, with the experts, in financial dispute resolution, like in financial crimes, in front of the public prosecution, in front of the courts. I think all of the legal field needs a lot of training about the blockchain technology and how digital wallets work.
Advertising.
And the transaction and the transaction that goes there, because we're gonna see a lot of challenges like convincing judges and experts how this works to not to have like judgments that like make the investment goes away from here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a counter view on this. Right? Any product that has to work works because it's solving a fundamental customer problem. Right?
Correct.
The customer awareness, how it works, all of those are good to have things. But unless, let's say in this particular case, the customer doesn't care which rail customer is using, right? Like whether it's CBDC, whether this is ANI, whether this is bank transfer, customer just wants the most efficient rail.
Exactly.
Right? And across the world, right? Like you have UPI, you have PIX, you have Visa, MasterCard. In any particular use case, and you see different rails serve different use cases just because they are the most efficient there, right? If the rail that the use case that the rail is solving, if it's most efficient for that particular use case, you would not need a customer education there. USDT, for example, that Jonathan was mentioning, right, is a perfect example. Before crypto got regulated globally, it found a product market fit for cross-border value transfer use case, right? Because it was solving a huge pain point, which was around SWIFT, right? So if the use case is on institutional, wholesale, whichever side, the customers would find the adoption automatically, and the language barrier for some of these things become the last priority to be solved, right?
Perfect. Okay. Let's go to the third question. Andrew, what key challenges or considerations should be addressed for successful adoption?
I think I've already mentioned it, and I've been already addressed many times by my colleagues as well. It's the adoption, as mentioned by David as well, is about interoperability within the ecosystem as well. But the retail clients is number one. That drives the market. As I mentioned, they need to fix that. They need to find a solution towards that. Let's just say that. If they don't, it will not succeed. It will only be successful in the back end, let's say, for the institutional wise. And giving UAE's innovation, also adoption of regulations for VARA, etc. It's very positive. Out of all the countries worldwide, it's very positive in my opinion. But they have a long road ahead of themselves and a lot of competition as well. Even with the digital dirham, yes, you could settle it with the Chinese or India, etc. But then you want to answer that question: are the retail clients going to use that? Why are they using USDT now instead of a central bank issued currency? There are reasons behind that. Clearly reasons, and other ones are not so clean, let's just say that. So there needs to be also incentives for the clients to do that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. It's great to talk about it. It's a great innovation. Yeah, it's not brand new, but for UAE it is. But it needs a lot of work, and they need to think not about themselves, about this great innovation, but what is it going to solve for the retail clients? How are they going to use it? It's as simple as that. And honestly, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, so I can't suggest.
Maybe Jonathan have answers.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not going to add much onto that, but what I will say, so if I'm logging into my Emirates MBD bank today, I'm seeing a balance, right? If I log in there tomorrow and it's a CBDC, I'm still going to see a balance. The back-end architecture is, yeah, it's hell of a complicated and it's hard to explain maybe to the Arabic population, but if you're not just swapping the two around, the dirham's already digital. It's numbers on a piece of paper. Like, it's not numbers on a piece of paper. We're not walking around with wads of banknotes. Well, some of us are, but like not many of us anymore. Maybe most of us have just got plastic in our pockets. So the entire thing is already digital. It's just the mechanism which that digitalization is taking place. So it should be a smooth transition. I don't see where the complication comes in, unless it's the hiccups in the building process, and that's why you've got to sandbox and iterate and deploy and micro ecosystems and then scale. But I agree that at this stage, there are reasons for the adoption of USDT, and what the blockchain-enabled AED gives us is that seamless access to the world of cryptocurrency. It's a marriage. So for me, I shouldn't need education because I'm still logging into the same banking app. I'm accessing the same wallet, but it should give me more. And that more is a direct access into instant on-ramping and off-ramping and global payments, which is sans other very restrictive global governments that have audacious forex restrictions on their citizens, and their citizens are aggressively devaluing currencies. It gives those people access to a wider range of access, and even an off-ramping for international players into an AED currency to hedge risks on their local currencies. So I think they are international, but it's all, can we roll this out successfully and iterate?
Thank you. Okay, Ali, please.
Yeah, I think it will be like not the challenges. Let's see like the benefits of having a digital dirham. It will be easier to trace it, so it will be easier to catch the financial criminals if they do any crimes. I think it will be programmable in order to prevent them or restrict them from being transacted to a specific region or a specific accounts. Maybe the court will use them to put a freeze on some accounts or put a freeze on some digital dirhams. Will restrict like specific payments for the people who are dealing with the court in order to just pay for the essential for their lives. So I find a lot of usage of the programmability of the digital dirham that will help the judges and the legal field in order to enforce law more and enforce judgments more. Yeah, but will be the main challenges is the education of the legal field on this. Like lawyers, judges, and experts should learn a lot about it in order to cope with the change that is coming.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any project in Mashreq Bank to have e-dirham?
For sure.
Listen, we're always open to adding additional cryptocurrencies on different networks, etc. But we don't boast on adding everything on the market. We focus only on the ones that are being used by the clients in our industry specifically. And I'll give you some statistics because I have hundreds of brokers, millions in processing on a daily basis. 99% of all the flow, specifically Forex, high risk, iGaming, prop firms, is USDT. 80% is TRC20, 10% is BEP20, 5% is ERC20. USDC, more regulated stablecoin, 1%. BTC, 0.47. Ethereum, maybe like 0.10. You can kind of take it from that and see if it will be used in our industry. Dirham by CBDC, most likely not. Maybe the AID by the AID Foundation, perhaps, because it's more private, it's more retail, depending on how they adopt it. But we're always on the lookout to see what's out there, what our clients are requesting. We have a lot of Dubai clients as well. But so far, nobody mentioned it, to be honest. Nobody requested it, even though they have a lot of Dubai local clients, and they still don't use it. So as soon as we have any signals in that respect from our clients, immediately we're going to add it, of course, and we'll be discussing it. But as of currently, we don't see that.
Perfect. Okay, Arpit, how do you see the digital dirham shaping the future of payments in the UAE and beyond?
I think we covered most of that, right? But just reinforcing some of the discussions that we had, right? The usability of digital dirham or CBDC would be completely abstracted out as the adoption increases, right? The fundamental benefit would be on the back end, on the infrastructure level. Let's say right now we have all batch settlements in UAE, right? Like that would move to atomic settlements real time on the back end, right? From a customer perspective, it's just points or numbers moving from one place to another, which is the case right now. The experience become much more seamless, which is the main thing. One of the things that we would have to solve, when Ali here said it would really help in financial crime, sanction, programmability will help set those configurations, rules, right? The other side of that is what the customer's expected behavior there is, right? Especially for large wholesale institutional customers, do they want bank RMs to interact with? Do they want the relationship to drive some of those decisions, right? I think the core part is as you give options to customers, we would figure out where the market wants it to be driven, right? You can only force from the top, which is, let's say in this case, the regulator, a new rail in probably 20-25% of the use cases which are directly government driven or institutional driven. The rest of the customers, you will have to give an option and then you figure out where the adoption is. And I think that's still not figured out in case of CBDCs.
Thank you. Andrew? You will not add anything?
Yeah, I think it's been overstated already, so I'll just give it to my colleagues if they want to add more to it.
Okay, Jonathan, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity to tell the people that control the air conditioners in this place to please turn them up slightly. Yeah, so for us as a global player, we don't have domestic regulation. The use cases and what we've drilled on domestically, it needs to be clear not just how this is going to roll out for a retail domestic client. I think that abstracts the point of what the real use cases are here. We need to look at, once again, drill down on interoperability. If I am going to adopt this as a global player, so that's still the big use case. Retail adoption, we've already discussed, can be mandated. I don't think that there's going to be any gaps in terms of that execution. And we've already seen the UAE seamlessly change a weekend from a Thursday to a Friday. They're good at seamless changing. This country is brilliant at it. So I don't think they'll get that wrong. What they do need to double down on is discussion with international players. You've got the Visas, the WorldPays of the world, international payment behemoths that want to do on-ramping and off-ramping, and not just want to, already doing it. So it's the seamless interoperability, I think, is the biggest consideration here for us.
Okay, Ali, please.
Yeah, I think all the speed, and the speed is the most important thing after trust, after building the trust with the customer and with the retail payers. I think the speed will be the most important thing for the people who will be using digital dirham. We have China with more than 260 million digital wallets, billions of dollars are transacted with the digital yuan. We're going to see the same here, maybe more, because we have an international community here, so it will be widespread in a faster way. So I think, we're going to change the payment. I think businesses will love it a lot because they will not wait for the banks 3 days to transact the money that they got today from the customer. So I think business will be the most important player in adopting this.
And my last question to you, Ali, again. You have any project to have digital dirham?
I think it will be mandated by the central bank to all of us to adopt,
Exclusive news for us. Okay, so now we have finished our discussion panel. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and see you next year, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.